dead and buried, and I hope that's a long, long time.
What's happening? Is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. A day of nothing but classic radio shows, back-to-back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land.
We all run a busy schedule, and maybe we don't have time to catch the Gary Russen program. Well, here's the solution. The best of the Gary Russen program, highlighting the most memorable parts of recent shows. Each podcast I will play clips of previous shows and talk about them. Watch for podcast uploads during the GJRB's podcast weekend on GJRB's public site on Spreaker. Reflecting on the past memories of past shows. The best of the Gary Russen program on GJRB.
Suicide's increasing among the youth, and many of them playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please talk to them, help them. And if it seems hopeless, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. They can help. It's free and confidential. Your call will be answered by a trained counselor at a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I did the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The weird, the strange, the bizarre. Way out fun, way out there. Another show coming soon on GJRB Online.
We're back on the air here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker across America. I keep playing this because I just think this is a fabulous version of this. This is a great arrangement by a group called Christmas Generator, one of our new emerging artists here on GJRB, our holiday emerging artist. It's a great version of Carol the Bells on GJRB Online. This is fabulous. Yeah, isn't that fabulous? That's a group called Christmas Generator and a great version of Carol of the Bells. On the GJRB, online here on Spreaker, Gary Russen Program Extra. Variety of talk, music, and just a whole lot of fun. I'm going to take this show around and post it across the internet here on GJRB Online. We already post on Facebook every time we go on the air live. So I just grabbed some of the ones where we don't really touch that much, such as, we're on Twitter now. I usually sometimes repost on Twitter and in Google Plus, and we're all going to do all that right now and see who may be out there. We're going to do that. And usually what I do is I just kind of flip around here. I'm going to go to my main site where our show's located and see if we're getting listeners live. And if not, we're just going to start posting all over the place. So I go to my Facebook page, and I'm going to do that while I'm talking at you about various other things. No live listeners at this time at around 3:51 Central Time. So I'm going to post on Twitter. Again, need to log in. And usually I'll post on Twitter, Google Plus, and then I'm going to go to Pinterest and get the first part on there. And then I'm going to, because I'm not sure if I have this set to go on Twitter, but I believe I do automatically, but I just do another one anyway. And post on various sites while I'm on the air live. And see who's out there. And so Gary.Russen. Okay, then I'll post that there. Okay. And then I'm going to fly over to the, first I'm going to go back to my episodes page. And then I post over and go to the first part and save that to my Pinterest page. And see what happens there. Go to the Gary Russen, the GJRB Internet Radio. Okay, there it is. That's the first part. And then we're going to go to the live where we're on now and post that too. And see who's out there on a Saturday doing GJRB Online here on Spreaker across America. Glad you could be with me. I'm Gary J. Russen. This is the Gary Russen Program Extra. Saturday afternoon live right here on GJRB Online. So come on board, and we're live here. And so I've got that here so that people can now go over there. And whoever is on Pinterest, on the GJRB Pinterest page, and over on all the other sites, and now we're ready to go. I'm going to do right now is get ready to do another weather on the fives, and take a look at some of those areas that are getting hit by this massive eastern snowstorm, which is bearing down on the eastern side of the United States right now. So we're going to I'm going to be doing that next. I'm going to see here. We were at Boston yesterday, so I want to see what's changed in Boston. So why don't we just get started and get the weather on the fives done because we continue on the show. And the winter storm warning is still in effect for you guys in that area right now. Snow showers happening right now in Boston. 24 degrees is what it feels like. It's 32, feels like 24. Your winds are out of the north at 9 miles per hour. Your relative humidity 95%. Your dew point 30, and your barometric pressure is dropping at 29.78 inches of mercury. Visibility is only 5 miles. It's all 5 mile visibility. And I'm looking at your radar. It's all full green. I mean, your radar is packed. It's packed. All the way through Worcester, down through Stockton, Providence, Lowell, all that area around your area here in the Boston area of Massachusetts is all covered. So you're covered in snow right now. and it looks you're probably in white right now. And your forecast calling for snow this evening will translate into snow showers late, with a low of 31 degrees, winds at north-northwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and you have a 90% chance of snow. You got expected accumulation of 1 to 3 inches for Boston, Mass, at the top of the I-95 corridor. So Boston's getting it right now. Boston, Massachusetts, you're under a winter storm warning until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay? 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at some of the other temperatures across America. 83 degrees in Los Angeles right now. 58 degrees in Cocoa, Oregon. Over in Seattle, Washington, it's 43 degrees. And Seattle, let's see what you're under. I think you're under a air stagnation advisory for people in Seattle, Washington right now. Air stagnation advisory in effect for your area. So looking pretty bad there. Let's take a look at that. Here we go. Air stagnation advisory remains in effect. It's going to be till noon Pacific time Monday. Air quality, dry conditions, light winds, and poor mixing has led to the stagnant conditions in the interior lowlands. These stagnant conditions may trap pollutants near the surface, which may lead to deteriorating air quality. Timing, Monday morning, and the main impact will be deteriorating air quality to affect people with respiratory issues. So you're going to check with your local area if you're living in. This is for people in the in that area, in the Seattle, Washington, and vicinity area. Seattle, Washington. You got air stagnant advisory there. So check with your local clean air agencies for possible burn bans. You might have some burn bans in your area, so be aware of that. At nwcleanairwashington.gov or www.orcaa.org. Orca. So just to let you know, that is what you got going at you right there for people in Seattle. Looking at your radar though, right now, pretty well clear. And Seattle, Washington, your winds to the southeast at 1 mile per hour, not much wind. Humidity at 72%, your dew point's 35, and your barometric pressure is 30.40 and dropping. You have 6.0 mile visibility. Let's take a look at your forecast. Partly cloudy, high 42. Winds light and variable for Seattle, Washington. No precipitation today, tonight. No precipitation clean through Monday for people in Seattle, Washington. Tonight, 31 degrees and clear. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and a high of 49. 33 Sunday night. 33 is the predicted low with partly cloudy skies. And Monday, partly cloudy, again, high 48. So that's your forecast for that area. That's weather on the fives this time around. We'll take a look at some temperatures and weather conditions in that storm area. We'll take a look at eastern PA and some of Virginia and West Virginia later on as well. So as we go down the I-95 corridor. Okay, so be aware of that. Okay. GJRB online here on Spreaker across America, fast approaching the 4 o'clock hour in the Central Time Zone right now. 4 o'clock right now. And I'm not ready for that time tone yet. Sometimes I'm not ready for it. And if I'm not, I don't put it up. So, okay, let me see if I can find that real quick. Pop it in. They're not ready yet. Here we go. So we'll get your weather, and it's 4 o'clock right now in the Central Time Zone. 4 p.m. Central Time right now. Okay. o'clock Central Time. Right now, 5 o'clock East, 2 o'clock Pacific. I'm Gary J. Russen. This is GJRB Online on Spreaker, and this is the Gary Russen Program Extra. And we're talking a lot about different things in the news. Kind of a slow day, Saturday. Hope everybody out there is good, and I hope that maybe we get some audience live here on Spreaker. Hoping to maybe hear from you if you have a listening to listen. We got one already up. We got some listener, one so far, so we're hoping for more. And you can call in the program. If you're following me on Facebook, that's just go in the Messenger and call me. Or I'm on Skype at Gary.Russen. And you can get on the air with me live here on Spreaker on the Gary Russen Program Extra for a Saturday afternoon. And this is where we just kind of talk about what's going on in the news. It's kind of a laid-back show. And I just kind of throw things around a little bit and just kind of have fun on a Saturday afternoon. Just, talk about what's in the news, but just kind of throw things around here. I was, yesterday, toward the end of the show, as you remember straight, I was having trouble with my audio. Don't know why. For all of a sudden, it went dark, and I could not hear myself on my 9-foot FM signal. And I thought, wow, what is going on? And then I went through some shifting of wires, plugged in a different cord, and it seems to be working better today. Since I did that, I got rid of another cord. I replaced a cord in my system, and it seemed to work a little better. It sounds like I'm not, I'm broadcasting at full strength. But today, for some reason, we're just having a little bit of slow internet or something because a lot of my players, even my players. Playing is hesitant. Some of my promos are my promos are sticking a little bit, and some of my music, so that's why I'm kind of playing them a little bit. See why I'm not getting the full. This is my music gets stuck once in a while. So I don't know. I'm about due to clean this computer, and I usually do. I usually try to clean it. As I told you before earlier, I have a whole pile of shows on here so far, and I'm going to have to relinquish some of them. I've already put them on my Google Drive, so that I encrypted so that I can get rid of them off the computer. Because, and I'm going to do that every 6 months from now on. I'm going to be doing that this year. Every 6 months, I'm going to get rid of a lot of the programs on the computer so I can clean it out. And all my programs, because I think it does something to the memory or something when I'm broadcasting a lot and I got a lot of programs on the computer, shows that I've already done. And so I kind of try to archive them, but some shows I can't archive because a lot of times I run out of room. So I put them on the driver, which I'm on Google, so I use their driver thing, It's a Google Drive, and I put a lot of my shows on there so that I can free the computer of a lot of my programs. Now, I would love this year to maybe get a 1 terabyte hard drive so that I could put all my shows on there without having to lose them all. But, I don't know, whatever, costs money, I guess. So, we'll see what happens there. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead now and see what else is on the main page. I'm going to visit my Twitter next. Like I said before, to kind of take the weight off the computer, I just read off I have a tablet, and I read off of that while I'm on the air. It just makes it easier to take a load off the computer if I just use my tablet and read off of that. And so far I'm not finding anything interesting to come up here. So every once in a while I do a scroll through social media, which means right now I think we could pull that up and do that. Because usually I do what they call a scroll through social media, so I'm going to go in there and get that. I had the hour time tone on there too. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go through the Gary Russen program and pull it up, because we're going to do that. Let's see. I'm going to go to the scroll through social media. Here we go. So let's do that right now. It's time for...
Now, let's scroll through social media.
Yeah, that's where we go to Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and read some postings posted by you folks on here, and read a lot of interesting things as we continue the Gary Russen Program Extra here on GJRB Online. So far, we had one listener in this program. Whether that one listener stayed or disappeared, hard to say. But if that one listener is still listening, say hi either via the chat room or visit our call me on Gary.Russen on Skype. Put you on the air and we'll chat a little bit. Be kind of fun. Old telephone. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to kind of scan through some of these. Let's see, fly through here. See if there's anything else interesting. Yes, crazy Nancy Pelosi. There's another one. Forced to retire. Should she be forced to retire from Congress? Yeah, I think so. Nancy Pelosi? Yeah, I think she oughta. I mean, I think she's just another one of those blazing crazy liberals that annoy me to no end. And let's see what else we have. I'm going to go down the line here. Up the page. Okay, that keeps showing up on my Facebook. I see this every day. What do you do? What 9 actions to take immediately after an EMP strike. I get that one quite a bit on the, we'll have to do that on a future show sometime, either on Way Out There or this one. Okay, I'm going to further on the page here and see nothing much else here on the Facebook page. I'm seeing here, Fox News posting. President Donald Trump winning the hearts and minds of quietly, slowly throughout the black America. Fox News Weekend, Sheriff David Clark talked about the president's relationship with the black community in the wake of the major civil rights icons boycotting his appearance in a Mississippi rights thing. And I got an aw snap on there. I hate when that happens. Sometimes it'll kick me into Facebook and do this aw snap thing, and I hate that dumb thing. It does it always on this stupid tablet. It'll give me this aw snap thing on there. I hate that. Let's see. I want to go up the page here a little bit. Okay, UN rejects U.S. recognition of Jerusalem Israeli capital. Well, the UN's going to do that. Well, you know what, folks? I reject the UN. I think that the UN is nothing but worthless. I've said that 100 times. I've said that millions of times on this program. The UN is worthless, folks. I mean, it is. I don't see any... I just don't see any point in the UN. Oh yeah, let's see. AKCOG. Who's that? How you doing? Haven't seen a cart machine in ages. Sweet. Thank you. I really like that. As a matter of fact, that's a cart machine from a local radio station here called The River, KRVR. It was an easy listening radio station. They were on the FM dial, which is now 106.5, and now they're a classic rock station. But yeah, I love cart machines. As a matter of fact, when I first started in radio, I thought they were the greatest things to come about. As a matter of fact, when I first started doing radio, I was doing cart machines, and if I had a chance to buy one, I would buy two. I would use them. If someone gave me a cart machine like that with stacks of carts, I would probably use them for stuff. I mean, I was saying yesterday about reel-to-reel decks. I love those too. I'm eventually someday I'm going to get another reel-to-reel because I think that reel-to-reels, and this is why I said yesterday, reel-to-reels are used by radio stations still today for a lot of reasons, and that is to edit, but also they use them for automation. They are the best for automation because you can record in a slow speed and run 2, I think sometimes even 3 hours, if not 6, on one huge reel. So yeah, I think they're great. I mean, hours and hours of programming on a reel. And with cart machines, yep. Okay, glad you liked it. Yeah, I put that. Yeah, I wish I still had one. As a matter of fact, when I was working at the when I was working at my first job, oh yeah, here we go. I kicked myself in the butt regularly for selling my last R2R. Yeah, my last reel-to-reel deck, I lost it when I moved. It was one of the things that I forgot in the attic of the place I was staying in, my place. And I lost it. And I had some reels in there too. And they're gone for good. And till to this day, I wish I could have just taken those. I had a station wagon. At the time, I could have just piled it in the back. And agree on not in this country no more. Okay, not in this country no more. Okay, to tell me where are you from right now? What country are you at? Where are you from? Another thing too is I'm like I said, on the market for. I said the other day on my last show, I had shortwave radio. It was a Grundig, and it burned out one day. It just didn't work, and till this day, I wish I still had that reel-to-reel. That was an incredible radio. It was a Grundig, and they are a really good shortwave radio. They're put out by they're one of the more reputable companies that put out radios, and the Grundig is a great shortwave receiver. Their market, the Grundig shortwaves are incredible. I could listen to BBC. I used to listen to Radio Nederland. As I was talking about this on the last show, I used to listen to a show called Happy Station out of Hilversum. And I used to listen to it every Sunday night. This guy would talk for like about 80 minutes, but he was just interesting. His name was Tom Meyer. And when I used to listen to shortwave radio, that was one of my favorite things on Sunday night. I had a 10-band General Electric, and that radio had guts too, boy. You could get... And I don't know, I'm just disappointed in radio reception now. I mean, you just can't get nothing anymore on radio except static, man-made noise. So, I mean, yeah, reel-to-reels, cartridges, and shortwave radios. Those are the three things I'd like to have back if I had the chance, because I miss shortwave radio. It was an incredible way to listen to world news. You really heard the news, and like I said earlier, the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company, I used to listen to the British do the news, and when the British did the news, they did an incredible job. I always said that their news was always the best written, best produced news on radio. I really do. I think that shortwave radio nowadays, if you can afford it, get one. I'm getting a hold of this one guy. He's from Canada. He's been putting out videos on shortwave radio on how to, buy shortwave and what's on shortwave and what shortwave's about. I'm going to get a hold of him as a guest. I'm going to do a whole show on shortwave about shortwave radio because it is a lost medium that no one pays attention to. It's like I've said before. Today, people don't care to listen to the radio. It's all television, all the time. And I love television myself. I'm not against it. Okay, I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just saying that no one listens to the radio anymore. People, it's all, television. And I call radio a lost art. So it's like one of those things that fall by the wayside, like reel-to-reel tape and cartridge decks. They just, and I've said before, I hope radio stations start putting turntables in the studio again because the whole talent behind being a disc jockey is to be able to know how to cue a record. These young ones down in the booth don't know how to cue a record because they don't have records to cue. There's no turntable in the booth. I still think that, and I really hope that the revival of vinyl carries on because the DJs need to learn how to cue a record the way we used to when I started in radio. You have to just cue a record once. I mean, it's fairly simple. It's a half a turn for a album and a quarter of a turn for a 45 RPM. It's very simple. But cartridge decks are the most fun because, the reason why radio stations put their songs on cartridges, it's because the disc jockeys didn't have to cue a record anymore. That was the first thing they did to eliminate turntables in the air studio, because the DJ didn't have to cue a record anymore. They had the cartridge machines doing it for them because they had all the songs dubbed on the cartridges. When I was going to radio school in Cleveland, Ohio, we had we after a while we were told to dub all our records and music on cartridges, because then you didn't have to queue up a record. The cartridges were all lined up and ready to go, and all you do is just put it in the deck and hit the button. As long as you had the songs dubbed over and the cartridge labeled, you didn't have to do anything else but do your show. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of radio stations were using those cartridge decks, because the radio stations were saying, well, this is an easier way for the DJ to do his show because he doesn't have to worry about queuing up a record. But the skill is one of the best things. And back in the day when they started radio, it was none of that. I've learned this from other people in the business that have been there a long, long time, that commercials used to be on records. They had to have commercials on records, and you had to be really fast to cue those puppies up and be ready to put commercials used to be on records. And then the cartridges came along, and that eased the tension a little bit. And all the commercials were on the cartridges. And then the DJs decided, well, we want to put our music on cartridges. And I saw that happen the first time when I was in Pittsburgh. And I would look in the window of KQV and watch the DJ in the window. And they didn't use records there either. All their songs were on cartridges. They just put the cartridge in and played the song. And the turntables were just sitting there doing nothing. They were in the booth. They had the turntables there, but they didn't do nothing with them. The jock just played the record music right off the cartridge decks. And I guess they could rotate the songs better, too, according to the record charts. especially the current stations. So there you go. Have that. You're listening to the Gary Russen Program Extra on GJRB. I'd like to thank AKCOG, ACOG, I guess that's what you call it. Let me know where you're at. I like to listen to your program. You're welcome to follow me here on Spreaker. That's GJRB Online, and you can go right in there, and thank you for being part of the show today here on GJRB Online. Stay aboard, and I'll have to hear from you some more. And also, if Rachel Ozzie Jarvis and all the rest of you are out there, come on aboard the Gary Russen program. You can call me on Skype at Gary.Russen and get on the radio with me too as well. That's Gary.Russen on Skype. And you can call me that way. And if you're a follower on Facebook, just do that too. And if you're a follower on Facebook, you have an exclusive line to me through Messenger. So that's ways of getting a hold of me if you want to be on the air with me and talk radio. I like to talk radio. But talk about various aspects of the business. And I know it bores a lot of people, Joe. I understand it, but I myself used to love to hear about the behind the scenes at radio. And when the DJ would kind of let it loose and talk about it, I loved it because I felt like I was there. And I would go down to the local radio station, which is our hometown of Ambridge, which is outside Pittsburgh, and we had a radio station there, WNBA, and that was where I would go and try to get a job at, and almost did a couple of times, but it just didn't work. I don't know. Anyway, you're listening to the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker. I'm going to take a program break here real quick, and I'm going to, because I've got a break coming up here in about 7 minutes, so I'm going to be getting that ready. And then when we get back on the other side, we're going to close it off because I'm only doing 2 hours today. But if I were to get more responses like that, like AKCOG, ADCOG, I hope that's how I said that, I might stay on maybe a little longer. Let's see what happens. I think that scan, that little flight through the social sites worked. Because I did Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, all the sites, and got listeners that way. There's my second listener. Let's see here. Maybe I'm going to see if there are followers here. Yeah, he joined me. ACOG, AKCOG. So I'm going to be checking him. I'm going to be checking this person out for programs. He is from Anchorage, Alaska. Anchorage, Alaska. So I'm going to hit the follow button. And let's see if maybe perhaps we can get together for a show. And you could be on the air with me sometime. That'd be kind of great. Thanks for the follow. Thank you very much. You're listening to the Gary Russen program. See, I'm maybe getting somewhere here on GJRB. Hey, wouldn't that just be great? Okay, let me see here. I'm going to be taking a break here in about 7 minutes. And then when I return to wrap up of the show for the last half hour, I'm going to give you our program schedule for this week in programming. We're going to be on the air. Won't be back on the air until Wednesday night. Wednesday night, we're going to be on the air 8 p.m. Central Time. And I'm going to have to get Alaska time for ACOG, AKCOG. I'm going to have to get Alaska time on there now. I'm going to have to do Alaska time. I'm going to have to look that one up. I got a phone, an old cell phone that actually does convert different time zones. And I'll have to look that one up. Because that would be kind of neat if I could get just announce Alaska time as well. So we're going to do that. Let me take a look at, I know where I have some of my old phones. I'm going to take a look here. I can just go into World Clock, and that'll be 6. I'll go to World Clock and then go into our Anchorage, Alaska. Let me see here. I know I have that on here. Let me see if I can go here. Let me see. Nope. Okay, I'm going to go to select. Okay, I thought maybe I had that here. But I'm going to go to A. Let me go back here. Whoops. Algiers. Okay, let me see. Anchorage, Alaska. I thought I had that on here. Okay, here, Anchorage, Alaska. Here we go. Anchorage, Alaska. All right, here we go. You guys are 3 hours behind us local. 3 hours. So your time right now in Anchorage, Alaska, if I'm not mistaken, is 1:26 p.m. Central Time. Are you on Pacific Time? I think Anchorage is Pacific. I believe they are. 1:26 in Anchorage, Alaska right now. 1:26 p.m. in Alaska right now in Anchorage. They're 3 hours away from us. Pacific's 2. So you guys are only at 1:26 p.m. in the afternoon. So you're early in the day in Anchorage, Alaska right now. Only 1:26 Anchorage time. You're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. And I'm going to have to do some Anchorage weather sometime for him too as well. Now, alrighty. We're going to be taking a break here in about 3 minutes. So we're kind of way overdue for weather on the 5s. So I was going to do is kind of skip over that. In the next hour, we'll do a few more cities before we close out today. Let's see. A few more cities. So we'll do that coming up after the break. Because this is the Freestyle Friday edition. What freestyle means is the weekends I kind of let loose on log. Don't do a log. I don't do anything like that. I just kind of just play around in the afternoon. Just do all kinds of stuff. I don't I don't do a strict, tight show. It's just a couple hours we just talk and that's it. It's just I go through the routine and I just talk. And just have fun. Just let loose and just do crazy stuff in the afternoon. So that's what I like to do when I do this. Is just strict talk, and it just gives me a chance to see how my audience is. Find my audience. That's what I'm after, and I think maybe if I keep on doing that scan on the air like that, well, I'm going to call it a scan. I don't know. It's just posting through the social sites to see who's out there. That's the whole idea behind that. Just to see what listeners I'm getting on the air, and that is the whole idea behind that. Just to let you know. And coming up, like I said, in the next half hour, I'm going to wrap up this show by giving you a program schedule rundown of what's coming up on GJRB this week and what is happening throughout the month and what I'm going to be doing in January here on GJRB Online. Like I said before, January is going to be a little different, and I told you what I'm going to be doing. Just thought we'll just kind of talk about that a little bit today before we close out. So we're going to talk about January and a whole lot more coming up next, so I hope you'll stay with me. I'm Gary J. Russen. This is GJRB Online on Spreaker across America and around the world. You're listening to the Gary Russen Program Extra. And this is where we talk about what's going on in the world of news and other stuff and craziness and just plain talk fun. Let's just see what happens in the next half hour. And I'll be right back. I got more coming up on the Gary